All right, now why am I doing this Super Bowl 50 recap from a staircase? I'm not sure. I think it could be because if I do it from a place where it's around people, I'll be yelling, and they might be wondering why I'm yelling. I'll try to keep it calm here. Another reason of doing the staircase is that echo. Are you getting that echo? Echo. I think you should get the echo feeling, but all right, let's take this slow here now. Now, we could simply analyze Super Bowl 50 by saying the following. Denver against Carolina's defense, Manning, they got 6 offensive points. The opening drive, Manning came down the field nicely, good job, got 3 points. And to open the second, then hits the first drive in the second half. 2 passes to Sanders. Boom, they were in field goal, pretty close to field goal range already. Field goal. That was 6 points. That was it pretty much for Peyton Manning and his offense. I'll take credit for that. I'll take a little credit for that. I mean, in my Saturday night, what should happen, I think I said that Peyton Manning would get about 6 to 9 points offense. I mean, his arm strength is just not there. Carolina's defense is pretty solid. I'm tempted to say just as solid as Denver. Everyone's going, what do you mean? Didn't you see Denver's defense? Unbelievable. Denver's definitely got a much better pass rush, and that's very important to have. It's the NFL. They got a much better than Carolina, but I don't know if they're much better than Carolina's defense. But anyway, Carolina's defense is certainly strong enough to stop Peyton Manning at this stage in his career. That's why I was talking about Brock Osweiler being in there. I think that Brock Osweiler did a better job. Now, Peyton Manning was trying to do everything, not only to get 6 offensive points, he was doing his best to try to give this game away a few times. With a pick here, and he got sacked and a fumble. They stripped the ball from him on a fumble, the defensive lineman coming around and knocking the ball out. Ely. Even to the bitter end, Peyton was trying to give it away by, what in the world was he throwing the ball? 3rd and goal, when a field goal puts him up 9 with 2 minutes left. And he's throwing the ball. If it gets picked there, and Carolina, they got down still only 6. Why don't you just run the ball and kick the field goal? All right, but Peyton Manning was there. Peyton Manning should have been picked. Could have been picked 4 more times. Should have been picked twice. All right, so on offense, obviously Denver didn't do much. But the Denver defense got 14 points, 7 of them very direct, right in the end zone. They recovered the fumble. And 1 of them they recovered on the 4-yard line, which led to that last touchdown. That's 14 points almost directly. Oh, let's not forget the other 3 points on a fiasco punt return where Carolina decided to he must have some disease contagious. Let's not touch the punt returner. Maybe they thought he called a fair catch. Who knows what they were doing? Whatever it was, they let him run 61 yards. They let Norwood run 61 yards. So there you go. There's 14 points on defense, 3 points on a punt return, 6 points on good drives by Peyton Manning. There's your 20. They got the 2-point conversions. That's 24. Now, if you take away the 14 defensive points, obviously it's 10-10. So that's one way to analyze and just say the 2 turnovers by Carolina. That's what cost them the game. 14 points. There was a 14-point difference in the score at the end. I think there would be a little bit of an oversimplification. That would be taking away a lot of the credit to Denver. The reason why they caused 2 turnovers is because they were swarming around Cam all day. They were definitely, the pass rush was getting there. So they're bound to have a couple of sacks. And by the way, I did mention on my Saturday night analysis of this, what could happen, I did say that Carolina had been sacked 42 times this season. And, of course, that is Denver's strength. Von Miller, DeMarcus Ware, So their pass rush is their strength. So there could be a few sacks. And I said there could even be a few Cam picks, and that's even after Cam was fantastic against Seattle and fantastic against Arizona. I mean, the Super Bowl is a little bit more nerve-wracking. It is a bigger stage. It's a different animal, as they say. And Denver's rush is a pass rush he had not faced. Seattle being a very good defense. Denver's rush is something Cam may not have faced this year. So I thought I was being realistic by saying, oh yeah, Cam may only get in the 20s. Right? Cam may only get in the 20s. Now, it turned out he only got 10 points because, Denver's defense was fantastic. Cam was nervous. I guess that's how you have to explain at least the first 3 overthrows, right? He had 2 overthrows early and then one a little bit later. Okay, so let's attribute that to nerves. Then you got a bunch of Carolina drops, 3 by Katchery alone. The most important one would be the one near the end zone right before the missed field goal. And by the way, Carolina also got at the field range and missed the field goal. But Carolina, right before that missed field goal, Katchery drops one down the sideline near the end zone with Von Miller covering him. So they gave up 7 points there. So Denver gets a lot of credit for their defense, and they're bound to cause a couple of turnovers. Say Carolina got a little unlucky that those turnovers just happened to be back right near their own end zone, where those turnovers turned into direct points. Peyton Manning's turnovers were an interception, but that was 75 yards away from the end zone, and he got strip sacked himself, but that was at the 50. So a little break there for the Denver Broncos. Actually, then you come to think of it, Denver had a few more breaks. Do you know that Von Miller committed a penalty on each of his strip sacks? Can you believe that? On the first one that caused a touchdown, the referees missed it. He smacked Cam in the head, right in the front by the face guard. He doesn't wear a bar. He wears that fit. He hit him right, smacked him right there. That's an automatic penalty, hitting a quarterback in the head. That should have been called. And would you believe that by the way, I only caught that the second time around. And that's why this analysis is late, by the way. I have to watch the game before I analyze. I wasn't able to watch it fully on Monday. So I got to finish it just now on Tuesday. So I'm sorry you have to wait till Wednesday to get the real analysis and points that no one else is saying. But no one else. Did anybody catch the fact that Von Miller, after knocking the ball out, and Cam for some reason doesn't dive for it, and he's taking a lot of flack for not diving for it? And by the way, I think he didn't dive for it because he wanted to run over and scoop it up and continue to play. I'm not sure why he didn't say that. Instead, he said it. He got too close, and then if he would have gone down, he could have hurt his feet, which is true, by the way. Once he was running towards it, now he's too close to dive on it. That could cause injury. But why didn't he dive from 3 feet away? I think he didn't dive from 3-4 feet away because he was running over to pick it up. Anyway, but after he doesn't pick it up, how did the ball go flying towards the end zone? Well, on the replay from the Denver end zone, if you look at the one from the other way, you see that Von Miller swats it forward for an illegal bat forward. Anybody catch that? I'm the only one who has to catch that. Anyway, that should have been caught. So anyway, both Von Miller played. So a couple of penalties they missed. By the way, the referees did get the Katchery don't reverse it correct. The ball did hit the ground. How did Sims, Carrion, and Nance miss that the point of the ball is on the ground? I know you're allowed to keep your hand under it even if the ball hits the ground. I realize that. But unless he loses control, and he did lose control, or at least it's doubtful, it's maybe he lost control. And since they ruled incomplete, there was nothing that was conclusive that said he kept control. Because after the point of the ball hits the ground, it moves in such a way that it looks like he lost control of the ball. And that would be incomplete. So correctly they said play call stands as called. But they missed those two. They also missed an interference on a 3rd and 10 in the fourth quarter that would have given... Ginn was interfered with. That would have been a first down. They also missed one other thing. There's one other thing they missed. I'll think of it at some point. But so there was a luck factor. They did get all the elements of luck that could be their But again, let's not take away from the Denver defense. The Denver defense won this game for them, holding Cam Newton to 10. Now, I have other points about the Carolina offense, and that is that if you're continually getting hit, switch the plays to shorter plays, leave back protection. Now, this was a point I was steaming about after the Denver-New England game. And I said, Josh McDaniel, come on, call shorter plays. What are you doing? And you see that Brady's getting hit. But then when I watched it a second time, I didn't have that same complaint because I saw that, first of all, Brady wasn't hit as many times as they said. That was I don't know where they got that number 23. But also, for the most part, Brady did call short balls. If you look, there's another SALT production 6-parter. I go over every throw Brady made. And he's throwing a lot of them left-handed because somehow I got a mirror image in my low tech. But anyway, when going over the game here, I see that that he was stubborn. Their attitude is, again, it's a Carolina attitude. We're going to throw that ball, and they didn't just do quick drop backs and throw. Cam holds on to the ball looking for a bigger play, and that cost them here. They've got to switch that. They didn't. Also, one of the things they were supposed to do was run the ball well. They did not choose the proper runs. I think Cam could have got to the outside a little bit more with a guy that he could flip to. That play worked effectively. They had to run that a few more times. It just didn't get that running game. And there are many times they didn't use the run in such a way that would create the fake run that would create room for Cam. There was a few plays they did that well, and it seems to me, again, I have to check this more carefully. It seems to me that that was not well designed to do the fake runs in a way that gives Cam time. All right, so basically the coaching should have done a little bit more to create time for Cam. But Cam, because he was getting hit a lot, he got wimpy. But besides the fact that he didn't jump for the ball on the fumble, I mean, he slid. He actually, on one of his runs, he gets the first down and then slides. Are you kidding me? Cam Newton sliding. He didn't slide the whole year. And all of a sudden he slid. Well, what was that all about? And this is a point that this is the first time in history this point can be made. The first time in the history of the NFL. First drive, right? First drive it was. Denver got 3, and now Carolina gets the ball. They get 3rd and 9, and they throw it for 8. Olsen couldn't stretch the ball out. 4th and 1 on their own 38. So of course you punt. For the history of the NFL, of course you punt. Not when you have Cam Newton. Now for the first time in the history of football, there's a guy who's 255 pounds, quarterback, who can jump higher than anybody can get. All you got to do is snap the ball to him, and he reaches over as high as he can, and he goes even higher than Stewart went on that touchdown. And that was an impossible play to guard, except for the fact that I was mad. If you're rooting for a Carolina touchdown, why should he drop back 2 yards and hand it to Stewart? He can get knocked for a 2-yard loss before he does the jump. If Cam just jumps from the quarterback position, that's unstoppable. And 4th and less, that was a half a yard. That wasn't a foot. It was a little bit more than half a yard. I still think that's impossible to stop. And if you're going to be the risky, cocky, arrogant type that goes at it, and it's important that since you're the younger team that you get a lead, and they haven't played from behind much. They have not played from behind. So early, show your cockiness and go for it, and that's going to be an easy first down, and then Cam will get the smile going, and he'll point, and then they never got any smiles from Cam. They never got that cockiness going because they were behind, and then he got sacked, and it was 10-0. Anyway, they should have went for that's a point. So I've made a few points here that have not been made. That's just my first analysis without any highlights. Did you see any highlights? It's already hitting the over 14-minute mark here. No highlights. I'm sitting here in a staircase. I've covered. Yes, we're giving a lot of credit to Denver, but there was a little bit of elements of luck. And particularly there was 14 points of turnovers. The turnovers happened just in the end zone. But again, give Denver credit. Manning didn't do anything. It's the 2 turnovers that were the big plays in the game. But I've covered some other things there that should have been done. We're going to continue this. We're going to continue this. We're hitting the 15-minute mark. I still think YouTube doesn't accept it over 15. Bye-bye.